Okay, man, we're starting to get a little game here now. It's starting to come into shape for us. So, what do we need to do now? All right, let's see. In the last episode, we got our jumper working. Now we kind of want to see if we can get killed by it, right? Let's see if we can get our player to go over there and maybe die, right? So I can jump over here and I can interact with that. Oh no, oh god, that is that's absolutely not what I want to happen. This is embarrassing. Okay, so let's try to fix this. First of all, if I click on my player and I go into the inspector and I look at my rigid body here, you'll notice there are constraints on the player. And you want to freeze his Z if you haven't already done so. That'll keep him from toppling over the way he just did. But clearly, he's not having any effect when he runs into this enemy. So let's go ahead and make a prefab out of my player, because if I do multiple levels, I'm going to need the player to be a prefab. So let's bring him into the prefab folder along with the ground. And since my enemy jumper seems to be working mostly, right? He's got his code associated. Let's bring him in here too. So the good thing about that is now I can have more enemy jumpers. I can just pull them out of the prefab folder, right? And now I've got, multiple jumpers. And they're all jumping at different rates, remember, because that's all. Oh, wait, that one fell through the floor. Wait a minute. That's not supposed to happen either. All right, let's not worry about that just yet. I might have to just add a rigid body here. Let me just add a rigid body. This might not be common practice, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. Rigid body, and I'm going to freeze all of the constraints here. And I'm going to apply that to all of my grounds. Let's see if that keeps these guys from penetrating my... It happened when they jumped up really high, didn't it? He jumped really high, and it was like he was going too fast to be stopped by the ground. Let's see. Maybe here. No? Okay. Well, that fixed it. All right. So we've got our prefabs going. We want our player to die when he touches this enemy. And remember, we created this deadly tag for our enemy, which is good, but we haven't really leveraged that tag in our player. So let's go back to our player script, right? We're going to go to our player script in Mono Develop. And we've created this collision enter target thing, right? We've used this to set our animator before, and that kind of worked, right? But we were colliding with the ground. Let's see if we take this line, this conditional, and copy it and make a second conditional here that if the tag is deadly, then let's make dead true. Now, I don't think we set that parameter up in our player animator, dead. So let's go into our player animator, player animations, player, and here's our animation tab here. Yeah, see, this is still floating out here in space. It doesn't have any transitions. So let's do transitions, 3 of them, from every state to dead. And let's clean those up. Just getting rid of these annoying transition times. You should be able to highlight all the transitions at the same time and fix that, but believe me, I already tried it. If someone knows, maybe if they stumble upon something, put it in the comments. Plus bool dead. And so for each of these transitions, I'm going to set the condition of dead being true. dead true, and then the last one, dead true. So we've got all these transitions going to the dead state when dead is true, and we just wrote that line of code that if we collide, if we have a collision with something tagged deadly, then we will activate the dead animation. So let's save that, and let's fold this out a little bit, just like so, and let's see what we got. Here I am, I'm running. Now it's going to land. Click, oh well. Well, that's not really ideal either. I mean, I am transitioning to the animation like I wanted to, but this is not what I had in mind. First of all, I'm still able to control my guy, and that's no good if I have a dead body and he's still running around the stage. And second of all, it's looping. So let's fix the loop first. Player dead, and we're just going to unclick loop time, and let's see what we've got now. And now he just, you know, he's laying there, but I can still control him, and he's levitating, so that's no good. So let's fix the levitation part, and remember this is in player sprites in my dead state here. Let's go to the original sprite sheet and the sprite editor. Remember, we want to make sure that these are all the same height. So this is 96. This one I'll fix to 96. And this one I'll also fix to 96 in this little height component. And then I'll apply that. And now we'll play. And here I go, dying. And now at least he's on the ground, but I can still control him. And that's no good. So how do we get him to stop moving when he accesses that dead state? Well, first of all, we need a bool because he's either going to be alive or he isn't going to be alive. So let's go to the end of all of our variables here in our player script, and let's create a public bool because we might want to access this from enemy scripts or from other places in the game. So let's make a public bool called is alive. And let's set right at the beginning of the game is alive equals true. Avoid start. Now we want to set it up here so that only when we're alive can we move the player around. Right? We've got this function already that handles our movement. So what we could do is we could set up a conditional here that houses these two things. So essentially, if is alive, if that returns true, then we want to handle movement, we want to flip, we want to check. We can leave the is ground part out of this. Else, return. I forgot my semicolon. Okay. So essentially, return is just going to end the program. We'll no longer be able to run the script or affect his movement. Let's see what else. Well, we've got is alive is true here, and we've got to set it to false in order to trigger this return, right? Because as long as it's true, if is alive is true, we're going to be doing these things. Else or otherwise, then we're just going to be ending the program. So we've got to have a way to set is alive to false. So where should we do that? How about when we collide with our enemy? we could just do is alive uh, equals false. Okay, and that should uh, give us the effect that we want. Save, and let's check this out. See if it works. So we're going back to our game space, and we're gonna collide with this guy, and now I can no longer move my player anywhere. So that's how you control your player's states and allow an enemy to take him down.